Good morning, children. Today we are going to study chapter number 8, Cell Structure and Function, in which we are going to study parts of cell. As you can see, the structure which is in front of you, it is having an outer layer called the cell membrane. Inside there is a fluid filled which is called cytoplasm, and a centrally placed structure called oval structure called nucleus. These are the three basic features which are commonly present in all cells, whether it is a plant, animal, or any microorganism. That is, the cell membrane, cytoplasm, and nucleus is present in all the cells, apart from the other structures which are also there. Now, these three parts, cell membrane, cytoplasm, and nucleus, forms the protoplasm. If you just remove the cell membrane and the nucleus, the fluid which is formed is the cytoplasm, which is a non-living. But when we consider these three things together, that is cell membrane, cytoplasm, and nucleus, along with other organelles, then we name it as a protoplasm. Protoplasm is the living part of the cell. Protos means first, plasma means liquid. So protoplasm, in other words, includes the cell membrane, cytoplasm, and the nucleus. Now, if I say, let us see the first structure, that is cell membrane. In case of, you can see this is plant cell and this is the structure of animal cell. In case of plant cell, children, you can see there are two layers. If you magnify this part, they are showing the magnified part of this part. You can see that the outer layer is the cell wall, which is absent in case of animal cell, and the inner layer is cell membrane. This cell membrane becomes the inner layer of plant cell and outer layer of animal cell. Okay, cell membrane is very tiny, very thin layer, and it contains porous. It contains number of small holes through which the material can move in and out. The basic function of plasma membrane is, first of all, as it forms the outer layer, it is protective in function. It protects the inner part of the cell. It provides shape to the cell. You can see plant cell, it is giving a rectangular shape. In case of animal cell, it is giving oval shape. And it allows only certain or selective materials to move in and out of the cell. And therefore, cell membrane or plasma membrane is also called selectively permeable membrane. Next, you can see this centrally placed in case of plant cell. If we can see the previous video, you must have seen in the previous video, there is a structure which is present in the center. This is nucleus in animal cell, and a structure which is present at the periphery or the corner in case of plant cell. So the position of the nucleus in different cells are different due to the presence of a very large vacuole in the center. The position of the nucleus is shifted towards the periphery in plants, and in case of animal it is there in the center. Let us magnify this nucleus and see the structure. Now you can see it is again, nucleus is a spherical body comprising of basically 4 or 5 parts. The outer layer, you can see that it is a double layer membrane which is not continuous. There are gaps in between. These gaps are called nuclear pores, through which the substances can move in and out of the cell, nucleus. Second one, inside the nuclear membrane, you can see there is a pinkish, you can see this pink, light pink fluid. This fluid which is present is also called as the nucleoplasm, which is not mentioned here. This fluid, this pinkish fluid which is filled inside the nucleus is called nucleoplasm, or it is also called as nuclear sap. Okay, this nucleoplasms contain various types of substances which do various metabolic activities of the nucleus. Because nucleus controls all the parts of the cell, it acts as a brain of the cell. So various types of substances which are required, they are present inside this nucleoplasm. It is a jelly like fluid which is present inside. Okay, now inside on this jelly like fluid, you can see there is you can see this lined the thread-like structures. These thread-like structures are called the chromatin material, which during the cell division condenses to form the chromosomes. You can see these are condensing. When they condense, they become short, and now then they become very clear. The thin lines are not very clear, but the darker ones are clear, and these are called chromosomes. The function of chromosome is they contain, the chromosomes contain DNA on which the genes are present, and they play a very important role in the inheritance of characters from one generation to another, that is from parents to the children. The chromosomes can be seen very clearly when the cell divides. So then you can see a very dark structure. This is called nucleolus. The nucleolus or nucleoli in singular is nucleolus. In some cells, nuclei, there are more than one nucleolus which is found. Then we name it as nucleoli. The nucleolus is spherical structure, dark, dense structure, and this nucleolus is also responsible for formation of ribosomes, which are very important for making the protein of the cell. So what is the basic function of nucleus? Transmission of character from one generation to another, and control of all the life functions taking place inside the cell. So children, these are the three basic parts we are going to study today. And to conclude, what are the basic things which we have studied? That is, the common features of all cells are: number one, plasma membrane or cell membrane, which is a phospholipid bilayer with proteins that separates the cell from the surrounding environment. And cell membrane controls what enters and leaves the cell. Therefore, it is called a selectively permeable membrane. Cytoplasm we have studied, that fills inside the cell, is a jelly-like material and is 80% water and usually clear in color. Cell organelles are suspended and move about in the cytoplasm. Nucleus is a large membrane-bounded organelle which contains the genetic material in the form of DNA and which are present in the chromosomes, controls all the cell activities, and also called the main office or the brain of the cell. Together, plasma membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus, we name it as protoplasm. So children, we have done three base common features. I am going to give you assignments based on these three, what we have studied today. And please also go through your textbook, page number 92 and 93, and try to do the objective questions given at the end of the chapter, and the assignment which I will give, you have to write it in your notebooks.